I watched the birds, I watched the planes fly, I watched the mail pick up. Sunday, we'd go to the airport, watch the airplanes come in. That was fun. And dream.
For Florence Schutze Reynolds of Connellsville, flying was her dream from a very young age.
When I learned to read, then I started reading everything on aviation. And then when I was about 7 years old, my dad said to my sister and my two brothers, "What are you going to be?" And I said, "I'm going to learn how to fly." They all laughed. And I said, "No, I am going to learn how to fly."
And she did. When Florence graduated from high school in 1940, there was a war in Europe. The United States was not yet involved, but there was talk the U.S. involvement was imminent.
They decided, let's teach the young generation, let's instill a desire for aviation, let's teach them aviation.
So Florence signed up, first taking the ground course, learning navigation, weather, and regulations. Then when she was finished with that, she took the written examination. Florence was told the top 5 scorers would receive a scholarship for flight training, with a promise one would go to a woman.
I came out in the first 5. Scholarship was mine. That's how I learned how to fly. But before I could go to the airport and start my flying lessons, they said, there's going to be a war. We're probably going to be involved in it. Girls don't fly. Girls don't go to war. We're going to give it to the next guy. And it was number 6. I fought him. I fought tooth and nail.
Florence got her flying lessons. At age 18, she earned her pilot's license. Then World War II started. Men were going off to fight and women were asked to, quote, man the home front. It wasn't long before Florence got a telegram from the military. A group was being formed called WASP, which stood for Women Air Force Service Pilots, and they were looking for licensed female pilots to train and fly military aircraft. The telegram told Florence to report to Avenger Field in Sweetwater, Texas.
Got off the bus, they said, line up. Raise your right hand. I took the oath to defend and serve the Constitution of the United States. The officer who gave the oath said, "You're in the Army now." I said, "I thought I was a civilian." "You're in the Army."
More than 1,000 women served as Air Force service pilots during World War II. They were deployed in the U.S. to free up more male pilots to be sent on overseas combat missions. These women pilots transported personnel and tested airplanes. Life on the base was hard.
They had a whole row of barracks. Barracks were divided into rooms, or bays, as the military like to call them, 6 to a bay, 1 bath facilities for 2 bays. So could you imagine 12 girls getting up at 6 in the morning and sharing one bathroom?
Though Florence knew how to fly, she had to learn to fly the military way, getting 560 hours in ground school and logging 210 hours in flight training.
It was a 6-month course. The male cadets had to go 9 months. We went 6 months. And we had the same curriculum, except for the last phase where they were taught gunnering and formation. We were taught cross country.
Not all made it through the rigorous training, but in the 40s it seemed unheard of, a woman flying a plane, let alone a military plane. But these women did it, and they were paid too.
While in training, got $150 a month. When we graduated, we got $250 a month, no insurance. There would be a pay officer, you signed a voucher, he'd count out the money, then you walk down the table. First place, you pay room and board. I had to pay for the room, I had to pay for the food I ate. I got sheets every Saturday, I had to pay for those. By the time I got to the end of the table, I usually had $5, and that was to last me to the next pay.
The Women Air Force service pilots were a civilian support corps, and therefore not accorded any military benefits. If Florence got sick, she paid her own medical expenses. No death benefits either. 38 of these female civilian pilots were killed during their service, and for the money to send the body home, a collection was often taken. Florence remembers one time a grieving mother showed up.
She pulls out, she says, "This is a telegram I got from the War Department." And she said, "I want to read it to you." And she says, "I'll show it to you if you don't believe me." She opens it up and it says, "Your daughter was killed this morning. Where shall we send the body?"
When the women reported for their training at Avenger Field, they were issued a helmet, goggles, and mechanic overalls.
For the zoot suits that fits, nothing fit. Everything was just big. They came in 3 sizes, big, and way too big. When we took the oath, they marched us down to the hangar, and the supply sergeant was there with us all, and they said, "Here you will get the uniform of the day." The sergeant said to me, "What size?" And I said, "I'll take a size 12. We have 42, 44, and 46. And we're out of the 42, so I got a 44. Look how wide they are. They had straps, which you could strap them.
After training at Avenger Field, they were assigned to numerous military bases around the country. When the war ended, the men were coming home, taking back the jobs women were doing. Florence found herself grounded.
There was no jobs available. There was a lot of the military pilots coming back, the men. The jobs were open to them. We applied to the airlines. They said, "Well, we'll give you a job as a stewardess, but not in the cockpit."
In 1977, 33 years later, the women Air Force service pilots were finally recognized. Congress granted the Corps full military status. And in 2010, 300 surviving veterans came to the U.S. Capitol to accept the Congressional Gold Medal.
I had the dream, and I realized my dream. I realized my dream very early in life.